State and Kansas State are on the plane right now all the way to Dublin, Ireland. That's kind of cool. I know, it's freaking outstanding. I mean, I'm glad Hawaii's one of them.
All right, we'll start with an opening statement and we'll take questions.
You knew that was coming. Come on, huh? Well, first off, I mean, we're all blessed to live in this wonderful city. I mean, it dates back all the way to 1775. And if you go back into the history of Tucson, which completely different than the other town up north, where nothing but transients, very few people are from Phoenix. A ton of people are from Tucson. So Presidio de St. Augustine, the Tucson, which is the main part of Tucson, built like kind of back in the days, the biblical days of Jerusalem when they had a wall around the city. That's pretty cool stuff. Now, for that to be around for 250 years, I mean, on December 31st, 1996, state of Arizona decided to create an area code for southern Arizona, 520. I mean, that's pretty, I mean, there's a lot of pride on our football program about representing this place, okay? In our last press conference, and I enjoy this stuff, I get emails all the time from people, positive, negative, especially after I go off on a tangent like I do sometimes. And I enjoy them. I've only responded to one in my life, and that was when my mother passed away, and responding in a kindful way because somebody had chimed in and my wife went after him, which my wife never responds. But sitting back and watching the popcorn of all the people that attacked him for coming after me was kind of fun. But in my last talk about Arizona football, and you guys are so deeply involved in Arizona football, so this is just one man's opinion, backed by a lot of facts, but one man's opinion. So please, if I get something wrong, always chime up and talk to me because you should know or will know more about it than me. But I offended quite a few people by not talking about Larry Smith and his era of Arizona football, which was a really good era. There's 6 conference championships in the history of Arizona football. Go back to 35, 36, and 41 and 64. 35, 36, 41 were all in the border conference. And then 64, they split with New Mexico in the WAC. And then in 73, they win the WAC championship. And then you go to 1993, where they split with UCLA. And probably November 12th, 1993, once again, in my opinion, probably the most devastating loss in the University of Arizona football. Because you're up 20-0, you've got the Rose Bowl in sight. I think, in my opinion, the best Arizona football team to ever field a team and have a chance to play for a national championship. And they blow a 20-0 lead to Cal and lose 24-20. But the best thing about that team, and why I take pride in Arizona football history, it's the message that we're trying to give to our team. They lose a devastating game and come back and respond and beat the team up north the next week, which gives them a chance to play in the Fiesta Bowl. And they boat race a Miami team that's as loaded and talented as anybody, 29-0. A defense that finished second in the country that was up 20-0. And as coaches, we analyze everything we do. And Coach Tomey went back and looked at that game and analyzed that they should have ran the ball more in the second half. If I had to do it all over again, we'd run the ball and let the defense win the game because they were that good on defense. But that team responded and won a Fiesta Bowl that was something special. Okay, in the Larry Smith era. I mean, I wish he would have stayed here. And you know what's really cool about Larry Smith that probably nobody knows on this team? His grandson plays on this team. Mason Bray is Larry Smith's grandson. And Mason Bray is one of the coolest kids on our football team. He's a tough sucker. He's got the right attitude. And so my love of history about this game, I'm getting to talk to the grandson of one of the greatest coaches to ever coach here. Now, he ties Georgia in a bowl game, beats the team up north 5 years in a row, beats North Carolina bowl game, and then gets the job at USC, which obviously is prestigious and has a great opportunity. Okay, so Larry Smith's one of the greatest coaches. Just in my opinion, in the era of Arizona football, the 93 team is unmatched. Now, Larry Smith had Chuck Cecil and Ricky Huntley. I mean, those might be 2 of the best players to ever don a Wildcat uniform. And so the era that Larry Smith, I did not mean any disrespect to anybody about that. I just think where we're at with the 93 team and what we're trying to build and what we're trying to create with myself and Coach Doege right here is something special to build on from those eras, okay? And then now it's our opportunity. It's our chance to go out there and be special. We've beaten the tar out of them during this camp. And that was the plan and design. And now it's time to get fresh, get ready to play. You guys said Hawaii, they've been a week out there in front of us. Well, now some of those guys, and then I got asked this question earlier. Are there the miraculous ones that all of a sudden they've been injured and then they come back? There's always one of those, two of those guys on your team. You don't win with those guys. You don't. The ones that are really hurt, Geronimo Doege, our new athletic trainer, okay? As you guys know, I'm very opinionated, and I can butt heads with a lot of people. That's the old head coach in me, and sometimes I have to remember what place I'm in. Geronimo is really, we had a great conversation, and he's got the right mindset for this program and what we're trying to build. And that piece, your strength coach and obviously the head coach are the most important. But those two pieces are so vital that nobody knows about. And so giving Geronimo his respect in what we're building I'm glad we have him. I'm glad we have him. And there was a couple of days where I always wanted to hit my head against the wall and be like, what are we doing? And he's a heck of a lot smarter than me when it comes to those things. So when you talk to somebody and they tell you their method, I'm all for that. And so it's the same thing defensively and offensively with us. You ask questions, we're going to answer them. Sometimes the answer is going to be BS. And sometimes it's going to be real. And we're not going to get, that way we don't give anybody an advantage that we don't necessarily need. But I'll tell you this, there's no gray area. It's black and white. And so we are so excited to play. And I talked for a long time, but Coach Doege, I mean, I just love the history of this program and what we're going to build here in special and get into a Rose Bowl and all these things. Because the 93 team had a chance to go to the Rose Bowl and screwed it up, but they responded.
You know why we're going to be good on defense, because he's extremely passionate, and this is what he does every day, just attack. So he's I'm going to back Danny any day of the week, you know what I mean? This guy's my guy. He inspires me a lot. So anytime he talks, I listen, and I'm extremely grateful and blessed just to be a part of, a staff with him. Like, he's made me 10 times better. So we're going to be really good on defense. So write that.
We're going to be good on offense, too. Don't let them fool you.
All right, we'll go questions. We'll start with Justin, and we'll go to Jason.
Seth, looking at your receivers, what impresses you about that group and just the variety of talent you guys have?
Yeah, well, there's a guy that makes it seems like there's a different guy every day that kind of comes on. Maybe Spivey's day, it might be Wysong's day, it might be Hyatt's day. So each day this camp, somebody's kind of showcased something that you're like, man, this guy's got ability that could hurt people. So the depth of the room, and the speed of the room, the explosiveness of the room, and I'm excited about the group. Obviously, Coach Wade is probably one of the better coaches I've ever been around. So he does a really good job of managing that room, because that could be difficult with that many different personalities and skill sets to try to figure out like where to put people. And he's done a great job of that. I'm really excited about the group now because they're finally getting settled in on the scheme, right? Like when it comes to like split rules, we have a bunch of choice routes, so there's a different variety of routes you can run on a different variety of coverages. So you got to be able to do that and make quick decisions and be still dynamic in your routes and obviously catch the ball and explode after the catch. So I'm excited about those guys finally settling in the schemes, because they're really starting to play fast and get lined up faster, which is going to be dangerous, I think.
How much has Noah evolved as a runner? How comfortable do you feel about him maybe getting out and running?
Yeah, I think Coach Carroll and his staff have done a great job over the offseason of really pushing him. And he's a competitive little dude, so I say little dude, he's going to be mad about that. But he's a competitive dude, and so like during the summer when we would watch them run their 1080s on their sprints, like he's in the top 10 to 5 on their 10-second sprints or their 20-second sprints, or their 10-yard sprints or 20-yard sprints. So he's done a really good job of really pushing himself in that role. Now it's just a matter of fact of being comfortable to take off. I think he's comfortable where he wants to create and buy time to throw the football, but there's times where I want him, if he sees space, to take off, because he has more speed than he thinks he does, and I think he can hurt people when the pocket collapses. So I'm excited to see what he does with that. I do think out of the pocket he's pretty special when he can create with his arm. But there will be some QB run game that we can do with him, especially guys that want to, obviously we try to take an advantage finding a +1 run. He can definitely do that. I just got to be smart. I don't want to get him hit too much, right? Just because he is our guy, so you got to protect him. But in a sense, he is competitive and tough enough to where I can move him for sure.
Jason and then Michael.
How would both of you assess the play of your lines?
I'm excited about the group. KD has really taken on the center role and has become like the vocal voice of that group. He's really quiet around the coaches, but when you walk away and he has the entire group to himself, he's taken ownership, which I want the center to do. Extremely smart. He's picked up all of our ID process, all of our communication calls. He's very good at it. I think Deuce has made a tremendous stride from where he was in the spring to now. I think he was always strong, but he would get tired very quickly and not be able to strain as much as he is right now. So he's in way better shape than he was. And then Ty Buchanan's playing elite football right now. I think Ty's really, really good on our edge. Wooten, we've moved Wooten around a little bit, and he's done an awesome job again. Like from the spring to the fall, Michael Wooten is a different player. And so all those guys have done a really good job. I mean, Bounds the same way. Tristan Bounds, I think about him, like in the spring, I'm like, oh no, I don't know if we can do it. And now it's like, okay, he can play. He can play at this level. So I feel really good about the group. Obviously still work in progress. It always is when it's an O-line room, especially with so many new faces. But I think putting those guys, there's a ton of camaraderie in that unit, and Coach Oglesby does a great job because they love him. Man, they love him, and they're always around him. They're always in the meeting room. They're always meeting. I mean, they meet more than anybody on the team is those O-linemen. But they love it, and there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of camaraderie, and they play really, really hard. And so because of that, they're going to give us a chance.
There's 20 of those guys, and they'll all be in Coach Oglesby's office at one time. I mean, I give them a hard time, like, man, that floor is going to fall. Like, what are you doing? Go to your meeting room. But they like him in a weird way. It's freaking awesome. I mean, you never see it. Defensively up front, I think we have 5 guys that we consider starters for 3 to 4 spots between Trey, Smith, Tia, Leroy, Deshaun McKnight, and Dom Lalesio. Malachi Bailey has had a really good camp. Has come on the last couple of days, especially against competition. When we increased his competition, gave him some run with the ones. And then interior inside, behind those guys, between Chancellor Owens, Bear, and Julian, we've got 3 pieces that give us something. Chancellor Owens is a strong human being. I mean, he's a 600-pound, 3-time squatter. And, I'll get back to that in a second. Just to update you, we talked about 34 guys power clean over 300 pounds. I pissed some of our guys off, which is good. And so they go back to Coach Carroll and complain, hey, I can do it. And he gave them an opportunity. Between offense and defense now, we have 46 guys that can power clean over 300 pounds. That's a strong-ass football team. Excuse my words. That's a strong football team. And so what we have inside with those 3 at the backup, now Zach Cilepa, some of you have seen him out there. He's got here. He's probably a little bit heavier than, he must have fudged his FaceTime with me once or twice. So we got to get him into shape a little bit, but he moves around good, and he doesn't look as big as he is. He's leaner than he looks, which is a positive. We're still getting through some of the stuff paperwork-wise to get him back out there. So you're guessing week 3, 4, he can probably contribute inside. He's a big old, good-looking dude. And then Mays Pese, a true freshman, and I think it's really hard for a true freshman to play on the line. And I think Louis Akpa on the O-line, that dude's going to be a dude. He's getting thrown into the fire right now. Like, he took some reps with the ones the other day, and that dude's going to be a dude when he gets strong and continues to progress. And Mays Pese is going to be the same way. And Mays is going to have to play this year for us. I guess I could say he gets to play this year for us. So as concerned as a lot of people are about our interior depth, especially on Coach Shear's message board over there, okay, I'm not too worried about it. Now, a devastating loss to a Tia or a Deshaun or a Leroy, that would hurt. It would hurt. But I think the guys have the response attitude in our room that Leroy, you guys are going to be excited about Leroy, a junior college kid that is going to play at a high level. And then Chancellor Owens, all he did at Northwestern State was play a 4-eye and 2-gap, and I think that's really hard to do. He was pretty good at it. And the stuff we're asking him to do with his twitchiness and athletic ability, he's a name that'll pop every once in a while. And then you've got Chase and Kennedy that I know a lot of you include, Chase Kennedy and Riley, a lot of you include in the front. And they can be in the front if you want to include them that way. They can be off the ball if you want to include them that way. I mean, our opponents aren't going to know how to include them. So they have both unique pass rushing skills, but Chase has gotten a lot better off the ball. If you'd asked me in the spring, is Chase going to be productive off the ball? I'd have said no. And Chase has put a lot of work in the lab. Coach Brangel's done a great job. And Chase has actually been really good off the ball, and he's kind of freaky athletically. So those two give you a dynamic. And then Malachi and Dom do some things that a traditional D lineman doesn't do. And we're going to line up some stuff that looks pretty funky now. I mean, it's what we do, but it'll cause people some problems. And I think we've created depth with those different looks and with what we've got.
Yeah, good luck ID in it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, good luck ID and all that stuff.
Michael and Jordan.
This question is for both of you guys. Danny, you've been around Coach Brennan in the same building as him for, what, 16 months now, or 18 months, however long it's been. You've been working with him since December. I just want to know what you guys think of him as a guy and also as a leader of the program.
I'll go first on this one. I think myself and Coach Doege, and I'm speaking out of turn for him a little bit just from my knowledge of we do this neighboring thing, and I can't wait till Coach B asks me to talk about Seth Doege in our team room because I got all kinds of stuff to talk about and share. But Coach Doege was brought up by a coach. His dad was a big time. Oh, come on, Brian. What do we got? Are we playing? What are we doing?
No, I don't know.
That's okay. It's good. It's fun. Coach Doege was brought up by a big-time high school football coach in the state of Texas and understands there's a certain way that head coaches are, and they believe in the process. And successful head coaches, much like Coach Brennan, the job he did at San Jose State in the college world is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The respect that he has across the country for the job he did there that could never be done is tremendous. And I'm one of them because I had to battle him. And who he is as a person, he's one of the greatest people in the world to work for because he allows you to be a father, he allows you to be a husband. And I know at any moment I could call Coach B and he would get up and do whatever it is I ask him to do. And the two of us understand that because we're both pretty opinionated, and I think you need that on a football staff because if you have a bunch of yes men, then you better have a guy that's unbelievable leading the charge because it doesn't work that way. Very few does it work. Coach Saban might make it work because I'm sure there's not a lot of people that disagree with him. But the ones that do, make it real. And so we both understand that it's his team, and whatever the head coach says, that's what we're going to do. And that's as a player, that's as a coach. And so I think we're very fortunate, and I love being in the building with Coach Brennan every day and Courtney. They do a phenomenal job representing Arizona football. They do a phenomenal job with our football team. And, I mean, both of our wives are here right now in the press conference. That's not normal. But they feel comfortable and welcome. And when you can welcome people and people that want to come in from the outside of the program, Coach B is going to welcome everybody into this program because we only work if Tucson works. And when Tucson is on fire because Wildcat football and Wildcat basketball, the main two are on fire, all the other sports become on fire too, and it becomes something separate. So Coach B is inviting all that in. So, I mean, I know I think it was Javion or Michael said the other day that he's more intense. I think people might want him to be more intense. Coach B is who he is. And what did at San Jose State, and it drives me crazy when people say lower level football, FBS football. When we were at San Diego State, we beat Power 5 schools. We were 8-1 against them in a stretch. That's big time football. San Jose State's big time football. They went down to friggin' Arkansas and beat Arkansas. That's big time football. So Coach B is the right man for this job. And I think he surrounded himself with people that give him the best chance to be successful because I've said it before. When a head coach gets fired, the 10 assistants screwed him. They didn't do a good enough job because it's their job to make him great. Now, if he's lazy and he's not a good CEO, well, then you got other issues. But that's the 100% complete opposite of Brent Brennan.
Yeah, for me, I'll go back to when I made the decision to take this job. He was the main factor. I love Tucson, and I love being a part of this university, but I want to work for Coach Brennan. And the reason I want to work for him is because he values the things that I value, and that's family and football, right? And like I said, I can be a father. He allows me to be a father, and he allows me to be myself, right? He allows me to do it the way I want to do it, as well as it's coached me through it too. I don't feel like I have to do it a certain way, and I get to do it the way we talked about and what he hired me to do. Now we have off discussions about, things we can do better that he sees. Like I said, I want to be coached. But he is like I said, he is the main reason that I chose to come here, and just because of the person he is. He reminds me a lot of Coach Clay Helton that I had at USC, and Clay was the same way. He treated people the right way. He was genuine, and he took care of his players and his coaches. And to me, I want to be, like Coach Brennan models the way for me, because one day I do want to be a head coach. Well, I wanted to work for people that, like I said, want to do it the way that I want to do it eventually. So, I mean, he's been awesome. The kids love him. The coaches love him. There's times that, just like any family, like we might get frustrated at and have opinions on stuff. But at the end of the day, what Coach B says goes, because it's his team, right? And we're going to go do that 100%, 100 miles per hour, 100% of the time, and do it to a red line standard. But I love the man. So he gave me an opportunity, and I feel a little bit responsible to make him right, And so I wake up every morning thinking about how I can make him right.
Jordan and Brian.
Seth, you mentioned that Danny's made you a 10 times better coach. How has he done that? And then, Danny, how has Seth helped your game as a defensive coordinator?
Well, to start in the office, just talking about with Coach Brennan is Danny coaches me. He coaches me on different situations, whether it be scheme or how to handle, off the football situation, whether it be with a player or a coach. So I think those are invaluable. He's also been a friend to me. So he's welcomed me, him and his family have welcomed me and my family, which has made me feel comfortable. I can be myself around him. And so he's helped me grow in that standpoint. He's also encouraged me in a lot of different things, right, to be myself, and not to lose my edge, all that kind of stuff. So he's been a huge inspiration just since I've been here. And then on the field, like what he does is so unique that you're constantly creating a new rule of how to attack it. So you have no choice but to learn more football. You have no choice but to figure out how to defeat what he's doing. Because if you don't, you're just going to sit there and take negative plays over and over and over. So he's been, like I said, he's been a tremendous part of my life, and it's been a short part, but it's been tremendous. It's been a very impactful part, and so I feel very grateful to be around him.
We're blessed to have Seth in this program, and him choosing Coach B and the Wildcats was a big deal, because I got to watch the tape of all the guys that we interviewed, and in my opinion, I didn't think it was close. We made the right choice, and the right guy wanted to come. I've learned a lot from Coach Doege, and he's the first guy. I mean, when we were at San Diego State, Jeff Horton has a very similar mindset to a defensive guy. Let's run power counter. Let's try and destroy people. Okay, Coach Doege has a violence to him that I really appreciate. And violence is a harsh word, and in our football world, it's okay between the lines. But Coach Doege knows how to separate that and teaches our young men how to be that way and be good people out in the real world, where they're going to live for the majority of their life, not just football. And watching him, and I asked him when he first got here, hey, you mind if I sit in on your meetings? And it's not so much, in the spring, I love spring football because there's no competition. It's all competition between us, but there's no pressure to win or lose games because you don't get to play any. And so we're freaking worst enemies in the spring because I'm trying to annihilate him and he's trying to annihilate us. But I asked him, hey, can I sit in your meeting? Because I want to hear how you teach. Because all good teachers want to get better every single day and learn more. And so just watching him, how he displays his message into the kids, and watch the kids. And most of the time when I'm watching those meetings, I'm trying to see what the reactions of our players are. Like, are they looking at their fingernails? Are they locked in? And you got all eyes locked in because he delivers a message and he makes them all feel welcome and he makes them all feel valued, which is the signs of a great teacher. And so trying to pull from within that. And then I was fortunate that the guy that I worked for that was raised me in this business, Rocky Long, when I was at San Diego State, and I first took the job, and my wife and kiddos stayed back in Albuquerque to finish school and stuff. I'd stay up at the office, and I'd be there till 1 or 2 in the morning, and I just lived football. And Rocky came in one day, and he was like, hey, man, like, you being up here this extra 4 hours probably isn't going to make us the difference between us winning and losing. Like, spend some time with your wife. Spend some time with your family. Like, it's a big deal. And I thought, he's probably right, because I'm doing stuff that I could have done 4 hours ago and got it done. Sometimes it's necessary that you have to be there. Sometimes it's not. And watching him with Leighton and Abby, that's been really fun. I pride myself on trying to be a great husband and a great father. I really do. I take a lot of pride in my daughter now. August is really hard for football coaches' kids, because you're gone 15, 16, 17 hours a day. Not just, I mean, you're gone when they wake up, and you're asleep when they get home. And so now my youngest, the one that has Down syndrome, Abby, I wake her up every morning to give her one of her pills that she takes, and I rub her back. Hey, babe, can you wake up and take this for me and give me a hug? Who's this? I'm all, Abby, it's your daddy. Oh, yeah? What's my favorite food? I'm all, spaghetti. She's like, oh, daddy, turn around. I'm like, okay, she's going to ask me a question I might not have an answer to one day. So the month of August is hard, and it's hard on them, and people have no idea. But having them, good thing about Coach B is they're allowed to come here. I mean, we'll go eat lunch with our families and dinner and special. And so watching Coach Doege, and then football-wise, he's really hard to defend. And the speed that he mandates and the violence they play with and all the stuff that we do schematically, I mean, I'll go in there and pick his brain like, hey, how did you guys pick this up? How did you figure out that we were going to do this? And then explain to him why we do it, so that, I mean, if we're ever on different staffs, we have to play each other, I'm going to have to come up with a whole new game plan of all of our secret sauce and stuff, because I don't mind sharing it with the people in the building. And if we do go with each other, I'll come with some new stuff, I promise.
I hear you.
But I tell you what, if he gets a head job, I'd work for him in a second, because I think he's got a bright future, and I love being around him.
Brian and Troy?
Kind of already answered, but just for both of you, it's something that the other side in practice in camp that is that they've done that has caused you to maybe adjust to fix your side, like something that Danny has done that you've had to change your offense to make yours work better and vice versa?
I'll tell you what, we'll probably answer that question better in January. We ain't going to give any secret sauce right now of the adjustments we're having to make on certain things, because there's some things that he does that are really hard. I ain't telling you what they are, and I'm not going to tell Timmy Chang, because I promise you, Coach Chang, hope you're having a great day. I promise you he's watching this. So we can do off-record stuff, but I can promise you we're not going to share any secrets right now. I like the question, though.
Seth, just the development of ACFA during his training camp, how he started off with the second game and has kind of progressed from day one to now.
Yeah, shoot, out of a necessity, he didn't have a choice. He had to jump in there, and at times, sometimes he had to go with the ones. And the thing I love about Louis is his energy is not of a freshman, and he's not scared of the moment, right? The only thing that obviously we need to get him, his weight a little bit up, and he's got stronger, but so does every freshman that's coming into college football. I mean, it's just a different game. And so, but the growth that he's made from the first day, he took a rep, and
No doubt.
Somebody, I think it was Malachi, ran right through him. It was the biggest collision I've ever seen. And at one point I thought it was Lotto, so I was kind of mad, and then I realized it wasn't Lotto, so we're good. But the growth that he's made from practice one to now has been huge. It's almost made such an impact on me that's like, man, in 8 weeks he might give us a chance. In 8 weeks, does he get strong enough to where he could potentially play? Because he is athletic, he's long, and like I said, his energy and his motor, his mentality is everything you want as an O-lineman. And so I'm really excited for him.
I have a question for the receivers again, but from a defensive perspective. So for Danny, when you're looking at a receiver group that Arizona has where, another guy could be leading the team in targets any given week, how challenging is it from a defensive game planning perspective to kind of prepare for a group like that?
Unbelievably challenging. Between Coach Arcee, Coach Viney, Cobra, Tariq, Dakari, I mean, those guys, every Sunday we talk about, okay, are we good enough to play man coverage? Because if you can play man coverage, people can't run the ball against you, because you can outnumber them every time. And the numbers are right every time when you can play man coverage. But you put yourself on an island, and between, I think, Nunu, Javon Wally, that dude is freaky hard to cover. And I don't know that it's necessary because he runs these great routes and all these things, but my God, he's going to be a problem for the Big 12. Chris Hudson, I mean, he had 600-some yards, 57 catches at Washington State last year. I mean, he's going to be a 1,500-yard receiver. And now you've got those two that you have to worry about. Trey Spivey, who's coming into his own, and the Trey Spivey we had in the spring to the Trey Spivey we have in the fall is two completely different dudes. So now you got a big old receiver you got to worry about and be concerned with matchups. And then Luke Wysong, who I've been around for numerous years. I mean, look at two of the catches he had against us last year against Trayton Stukes and Gunner and those guys. I mean, dude's a warrior, okay? And then you got Gio Richardson, you got Isaiah Mizell, and you got, I mean, I'm going to hurt some feelings because I'm leaving some out. There's so many of them, and they're all so dynamic. Do I need to call them out, Brian? I will, because I think that was my wife. I think it was my wife. I'm just to be fair. And so there's so many that it's really hard to defend and say, yeah, I can cover all these guys. So they better get to know quick and get to the quarterback. If you only have two, you can do some things. Last year, people knew we had T-Mac. And people, I mean, NAU did a phenomenal job, and give Adam Clark a bunch of credit because they had a great game plan. And the first week, New Mexico didn't. So they were able to take him away, and it limited what we can do. If this dude had T-Mac, oh my God. Okay? So it's really hard to defend when you have that many. And then the stuff that they do, I can't wait to watch them play. I can't wait. I mean, I get to be a spectator up front on the sideline when they're on the field. I can't wait. You couldn't buy a ticket. I mean, pay enough money to get the ticket I get.
We'll finish up with Justin.
Danny, so you have an NFL running back right now in Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt. What has it been like watching his progress?
Little Bill's a cool cat. And I think it's pretty cool that Adam Schefter said, hey, the kid wants to be called Bill. So it came out because when he was little and he shaved his head bald one day, he looked like little Bill from the Cosby Show cartoons. And that's how that came, because his name is Ja'Cory. Mom calls him Ja'Cory, but everybody else calls him Bill. And it's really cool. Jaden Daniels has been a great mentor for him with the Redskins, Commanders, excuse me. And watching his success. Now, the Washington got a deal because Bill's fresh. He didn't get hit last year other than one game. And I don't know if people know how significant that is. Because I think Bill would have been a tremendous asset to our football team last year, and there's a chance that you win a couple more games because you have somebody that dynamic back there. You saw what he did in the first game, and you're watching what he's doing to the best players in the world, albeit preseason. But there's a reason they're shopping around their best running back for the last 3 years, because they know something special they have. And his personality, he's mature. For anybody to handle last year the way he did and show up every day and give our scout team, give our defense a great look on the scout team, and the scouts come in and watch it, that's an impressive deal. Because most kids would have went away and trained and said, forget it. But Ja'Cory's a team guy. Bill was a team guy. And Washington, Coach Quinn is one of my favorite NFL coaches because I think he does such a phenomenal job defensively with what they do. And when he was a Cowboy, which I'm a Cowboy fan, with Micah Parsons and the things they did. So I think he's in a great spot, Bill is, to have great mentorship around him from the coaches and players there. And then I do think there's something too. He's fresh. So he hadn't been hit for a year. And at that spot, you get hit a lot. And we talk about it all the time. You're going to see Tia Savea and Leroy Paulo, who are both over 300 pounds, jump on piles because at the end of the third and fourth quarter, those running backs, they get tired of that stuff. And so the harder you play and the faster you get to the ball, the easier it is to jump on the pile. And those hits, they add up over 60 minutes. They add up. And when you got 300-pounders onto the pile, like Superman, referees have to come over and say, hey, Coach, can you get him to stop? Well, not if they beat the whistle. So Ja'Cory didn't go through any of that last year. So they're reaping the benefit. He's reaping the benefit of that. But he's a special talent. And I could not be happier for the young man. Almost brings a tear to my eye because I love him like one of my own kids. He spent a lot of time at our house when he's in New Mexico coming from, he had opportunities. He's from Montgomery, Alabama. And when we were recruiting him to come back here, Ole Miss got in big time. And I think the relationship was the biggest factor. And the relationship that he has with my wife. We had Bill's birthday party at our house just because you build those relationships. And when the kids know that you have their best interest at heart, and I think this is a really neat thing about Coach Doege, like our football team would do anything for our coaches. Like the players on our football team, like bad analogy, but if they need to bury a body, there's going to be a whole bunch of people bringing shovels. Like we have a close football team. And it's hard to build that when you have 62 new guys, but when they know how much you care about them and that you're willing to do whatever and answer that call at 2 o'clock in the morning, they'll do anything for you. And it gives you a chance.
And then lastly, for both of you guys, Seth, I know you weren't here last year, but how has the program and the team gone about eliminating whatever happened last year and just kind of focusing on the present of this season?
I think Coach Brennan's done a great job of that. Bringing in like 3 new coordinators. Obviously, Danny was here, but he was in a different role, and the role that he's putting him in, and us, delivering the message that Coach Brennan's trying to preach, and that's red line. We're really driving that home, trying to create a standard and a culture here that we can sustain. But once I got on campus here, that stuff he kind of washed. He was ready to move on, and I think he's made hard decisions, because I know some stuff was hard on him, because he had real relationships he had to cut for the betterment of the program, and he had to make that decision. That's what head coaches do. That's what real head coaches do, and he did that. So, and then all the new players that we brought on. So, not many people talk to me about last year as much. It would be here and there. And so our focus is just kind of moving forward from when I got here. It was just attack to try to make this thing right, and put a product out there that Tucson can be proud of.
I think it started in December, and you can write out all the things that, we made mistakes, we did this, we did that. Here's a stubborn old football coach's opinion. We did a terrible job coaching them. Across the board. We did a terrible job coaching that football team. And I thought we were healthy against Utah, and they played good. We lost some injuries. But how you respond to injuries is who you're going to be as a football team, because you're going to have injuries. It's the game of football. It's a violent game. We did a terrible job coaching. And I think the reset, I think Coach B and me talked about it. We were begging kids to stay. He got the job at a terrible time. The end of January, so you get a portal window where only your team is open for the 30 days. The only team in the country other than Washington and Alabama. So you got 3 teams in the country, their portal's open. So everybody in the country is watching your kids and deciding. And then you've got a T-Mac and a Noah and a Stooks and a Dalton and a Genesis and guys that had just come off the game against Oklahoma and played their tails off and beat Oklahoma. Okay? So you've got 138 football programs scouring your roster, contacting them, and we're begging them to stay. Well, that's a mistake. You don't beg anybody in this game. Because when you beg people to stay, it's just like having a wife or a girlfriend. If you're not treating her right, or if she's not treating you right and you beg her to stay, shame on you. That's what we're going to get. And it displayed. And on top of that, we did a terrible job coaching them. Across the board, we weren't a very good football team. And when you don't have a good football team, if you have enough talent, it's the coaches. And Coach B recognized it, and we reset it. And as a head coach, just like Coach Doege said, you make decisions that hurt people, but it's for the betterment of the program, because nobody's bigger than the team. The team. That's a Coach Tomey thing. It's a Coach Bo Schembecker thing. And it couldn't be more right. And he made those decisions. And I think our football program is in a good place because of it. I think we have the right people in place to make Tucson something special. You're going to see nothing but the 5-2 around this place, because we're really proud of where we're living right now. And there's a lot of people, celebrate there we go, the 250th anniversary of 520. There we go, all in one shirt. There's a lot of people that believe in that. And so we've got the right people leading this program, namely Brent Brennan. And when you win games, players win games. Coaches don't. Coaches can screw them up and lose games. If you have enough talent, which we do, players win games. And so we play in 10 days, and I can't wait. I'm so tired of running into his guys. And the kids are more grumpy than me because I don't get to play, and neither does he. And we live through them. And so we're ready to go try and take the soul of somebody else.
Thank you, everybody. Cool.
Let's go to the Rose Bowl, huh? I ended it last week. I might as well just keep going with that, because let's get to the CFP. And unless you think it into fruition and they believe it, it won't happen. Our kids believe it. And go ahead. All those people up north can chime in on my Twitter and how stupid I am. But guess what? There was a team pick last year that did it, so why not us? And if you don't believe it, then shame on you.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Thank you guys.